I'm Barbara Carr. I'm actually the president of the Kathleen Sutton Fund. We have a 100% volunteer board. We don't have any paid staff at this point. I just wanted to thank you for inviting us and for the wonderful grant that we received. First of all, I need to share my screen, I assume. The Kathleen Sutton Fund reimburses transportation costs for women undergoing treatment for cancer, living in Clallam, Jefferson, Kitsap, and Mason County. I want to start out just by saying thank you to the Women's Giving Circle of the Kitsap Peninsula, and specifically to each individual member who makes it possible for the wonderful organization that you have. And it's really reflective of the combined effort to reach our community and the needs that it has. The Kathleen Sutton Fund began in 2003, assisting women specifically with breast cancer in North Kitsap County. We now assist women with all cancers living in Clallam, Jefferson, Kitsap, and Mason counties. Since its inception, the Kathleen Sutton Fund has helped over 1,000 women and has distributed over $600,000. As of May, we have distributed over $50,000 this year. The application process is simple. Basically, it's a referral from the medical provider to initiate the process. There's no financial requirement, no specific application, and the reimbursement for the travel expenses is covered throughout the treatment. And what that means is one individual woman may receive multiple checks. In 2018, we decided, because of the anxiety of the diagnosis and the stress related, and just identifying the resource, we now go back 6 months retroactively for reimbursement. We have two volunteer client advocates that deal directly and communicate directly with the women involved, verifying travel dates, routes, modes of transportation. And a check is then sent out within 7 days of request. And you can see the contact information if you'd like it, and also the expenses we covered. The future of the Kathleen Sutton Fund, and specifically what the Women's Giving Circle of the Kitsap Peninsula provided, was an outreach project with specific goals to increase the number of women we serve in all 4 counties, with the primary goal to increase the visibility of KSF and reach those women in all 4 counties. The desired outcome we identified was to increase the number of women receiving assistance by 10% each year. You can see in 2019, the number of women receiving assistance totaled 125 women. Specifically in Kitsap County, 54 women were assisted through KSF. In 2020, the number of women receiving assistance was 150. And specifically in Kitsap County, 65 women received assistance. So we did reach that 10% goal. Looking at the amount of reimbursement that was distributed, 2019, we distributed over $89,000. Kitsap County, again, over $37,000. And in 2020, we increased distribution to almost $115,000 with $41,000 distributed within Kitsap County. Just look at where the specific dollars go. The pathway to treatment, specifically for a client, T in Kitsap County, was diagnosed with breast cancer. She received treatment at 2 different facilities, received radiation during 2 separate time periods. So between June of 2020 and October of 2020, you can see specifically what was distributed as far as ferry passes, mileage reimbursement, passenger passes, and parking. And she received over $3,000 within that 4-month period. To see The Kathleen Sutton Fund underwent strategic planning and board development in January and February of this year, and decided to continue those priority and goals. To see the need to continue, you look at the numbers distributed by the Washington State Cancer Registry and the NCI, looking at new cases for women of all cancers. Those 4 counties will see 1,342 new cases of cancer. And looking at the number of women that the Kathleen Sutton Fund has assisted, we're at about 11%, and specifically in Kitsap County, about 9%. So the need is there. We're continuing those goals to do outreach, which means we will talk to anybody to make people aware of the fund, to reach those women in need. Again, I want to thank you, specifically the members of the Women's Giving Circle of the Kitsap Peninsula. Each and every dollar goes to these women. So you do make a huge difference and a huge impact. And I'd like to introduce you to Lynn. She is a client from 2019, and just the impact that you made.
So how did you hear about the Kathleen Sutton Fund?
First found out through Stacy, who is a social worker with Harrison Health, who is now also part of CHI Franciscan. So Stacy works for that organization. She's a social worker. And there were 10 of us in the oncology room receiving chemotherapy. And she, on 2 days a week, would pop in and visit with different ones, and there's people coming and going all the time. And so I, being the newbie, she came over and visited with me, and she introduced herself and told me what her role was and offered me a connection with the Kathleen Sutton Fund, and gave me Valerie's contact information. And I took then the opportunity within a day to contact Valerie, and she came right back at me via email and said, we would love to help you in any way we can. There were no questions about what's the criteria. There were no questions about your income. It was just, how can we help you?
How'd that make you feel?
I have 3 adult children, and when I told them, of course, they were taken back. They're very supportive, and they're very in tune, and they ask a lot of questions, and they help when they can. But having someone just say, how can I help you? Or, I'm here to help you. And an absolute stranger was very overwhelming, as you can see. I never realized I would ever be diagnosed with cancer, even though it's in my family. I just always felt I was happy and healthy and very fortunate, and I still feel that way now, even more so, especially a year later. Again, with the help of strangers who take you in and just embrace the path you're on and offer not only funds but just support and the compassion of to honor human dignity. That's a big gift, a very, very large gift that this group of people provide.
So again, I'd like to say thank you, and just know that each of you make a huge difference. Much appreciated. Thank you.